Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna turn that off. So first of all, I'm sorry for the noise. There's a lot going on in my mom's house. Secondly, I meant to make this a TikTok, but because my phone is dead right now and I don't have my charger right now, I thought, let me just make a YouTube video. What I wanted to talk about is something that could be interpreted in many different ways. It's this thing, this phenomenon. I was going to take this off. It's this thing that happens where you're having an interaction with someone, and in the moment it's going well. Maybe it's a little shaky, maybe it's a little awkward, maybe it's a little weird, but for the most part it's okay. Like, nobody seems offended, nobody seems hurt. But then after, oh my goodness. But afterwards, I'm sorry, I was reading a text. But afterwards, there seems to be some sort of stress or issue. And I've had this happen so many times to me in the last 2 years alone, where once again, I'm having an interaction with someone, and in the moment, they're like we're vibing, we're having a good time, we're flowing. But then afterwards, they go and say something to someone where it's like, oh, this obviously wasn't okay. And like, I can feel the frustration. Like, I can feel it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, why didn't you tell me why didn't you tell me that you had a problem with it? Why did you wait until after the situation was over to be like, oh yeah, I didn't like that? Because one thing that does is ruin a person's reputation. Like, not that it should be really cared about, one's reputation, but that definitely does. And it has ruined things for me. Like, one of those situations, I was at a homeless shelter, and they have policies, they have rules, they have guidelines, whatever. And harassment is generally a no-no. I think harassment is a no-no anywhere. But there was this one dude that I had a crush on. He was autistic. He was like super acoustic, whatever. I thought he was so cute. And like, we were hanging out and I made moves on him. And in the moment, he said he was okay with it. He said he was fine. But then he left. And apparently he told somebody at the shelter that I had like harassed him or something. And I was like blown away. I was like, what? Why would you do that? And then the craziest thing is that actually happened another couple times at that same shelter. And like, maybe on another level, that's like the universe being like, maybe you don't need to be at this shelter, or maybe something. But it just kept happening, and I was like, why are people so dishonest? Like, is it that they're dishonest with themselves, or that they just didn't realize in the moment that they were uncomfortable? Because what the fuck? And then this actually happened recently, which is the reason why I'm making this video, where I saw somebody and I thought they were attractive, and I made it known that they were attractive. I made it clear that like I had a thing for them, and so I made a move, and this person does have a spouse, but I made sure to ask a lot of questions leading up to approaching them. One of the questions was like, are you guys open? Like, and this person said to me, I do whatever I want. I was blown away by that sentiment, but like, okay, sir, Mr. Do what you want, sure, whatever. And so I proceeded to, because I am a massage therapist, I don't really talk about this all the time, but I am certified in massage therapy. And so with that knowledge, like I made a move towards him and I like massaged his shoulders. And I may have touched his pec, but that's as far as I went, like physically. And I felt like I was being really respectful. I feel like whenever it comes to like touching people and stuff, I try to be very respectful. Like, so it made me upset to realize, to find out that he had like complained about it. I was like, what the fuck? And then just the same. Also, I feel like I'm just yelling in this video because there's so many fans in here. It's like really hard to hear. But another situation was actually at the homeless shelter, and there was this dude who was really cool, really charismatic and whatnot. and they seemed to be having a hard time, and so I was trying to comfort them, and in the way that I knew how to do that in that moment was to grab their wrist. And I can understand people don't fuck with that. Some people don't like that. And I get it. After it happened, I was like, okay, I understand. I'm sorry. It won't happen again, you know? But he made such a deal out of it. And he like told one of the staff members after it happened. And I was just like, what? And the reason why this is so upsetting is because I could have gotten kicked out for that. Like, because I don't know, like, and I don't want to, when I was planning to make this a TikTok, I was thinking, like, I don't want to attribute this to, like, the whole chosen one thing, like, that whole concept, but we could, but I'm not going to, but I'm just putting it in the atmosphere, like, that is, like, a thing that people talk about, like, people who are chosen ones, people who are, like, enlightened and whatever, they face a lot of this animosity, a lot of this, you know, social chaos, and it's crazy, because it's like, why didn't you tell me to my face that, like, we had a problem? Why did you wait to tell somebody else? And knowing how many times it's happened consciously, like, that I was aware of, it's crazy to think about how many times that it's happened and I wasn't aware of it. Like, I don't know, and then it just kind of makes me think, like, people are nasty. Because it's like, did you not think about the ramifications of you going and complaining about this person who really was just trying to live in their authentic truth? Because a lot of the times, on an esoteric lens, this conflict, this issue thing happens when a person starts living in their truth, starts doing things outside of their comfort zone. I'm sorry, I was like, vigilance. Like recently this happened where I was like with this program, and some of the staff members, I thought they were cute, and I was like, you know, let me step outside my comfort zone, let me make that clear. And I felt like I wasn't doing it in a like uncomfortable way, like I wasn't being too much, but apparently some of them felt like I was being too much because they had like a meeting about it and they were like talking about it. And it was like, the most upsetting part about it is because in the moment, like as I said it, after I said it, I made sure to be like, hey, I hope I'm not making you uncomfortable. And that's the part where I'm like, because I know I think like that. Whenever I'm like interacting with people, I'm like, I hope I'm not being too much. Like, I hope that me expressing my attraction towards you is not too much. But then somehow, after the fact, it's like, oh yeah, he was being too much. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, no, say it to my face. Tell me about it. Tell me I'm doing too much. So like, what? And so if you're the type of person to do this, if you're the type of person to like have a problem with someone and then not tell them directly, like, it's one thing to complain and to vent to somebody else, that's one thing. But to issue a formal complaint to a staff member, that's a whole nother thing, and that's crazy. Carter, if you're watching this, nothing but love, buddy. But that was crazy. And then every time you saw me, you like, it was just like, what is wrong with people? Oh my god, I hope the audio also is okay for this, because we're almost 10 minutes in, and I feel like once again I'm just yelling this entire video. Oops. Also, since I am yelling, we could talk about passion. I'm supposed to be writing a thing on passion, and I don't know, I feel like I'm the most passionate person that I know, because I do have a lot of passion in me, but the way that I express it, the way that I articulate it is very low-key. I blame my Virgo placements, like Virgo and Mars, crazy, right? But yeah. Also, Mercury is in retrograde. As I'm recording this, as I'm talking, it is the 6th of August, and Mercury went in retrograde on the 4th. And so if you've been experiencing a lot of technical difficulties, a lot of delays, a lot of miscommunications since the 4th, we could blame the stars, we could blame the placements, low key. And I say blame lightly because we're not blaming them, but you know, it is a factor. I know I was over at a friend's house and his dryer broke down on the 4th, and then like somebody's car broke down on the 4th, and it was like a whole thing. And now I don't have the ability to charge my phone right now, and people are upset at me, and you might be experiencing a lot of stuff too. And just remember to slow down, just remember to breathe. You know, when these frustrations arise, I said this in the Patreon post that I wrote, like, make sure to slow down, make sure to just breathe, you know? Like, if you can, look at it from a different perspective. Like, instead of being like, oh my god, this thing is like making me late for work, like, maybe it's giving me an opportunity to like meet somebody new, or like something, I don't know. But like, there's always a different perspective, there's always a silver lining, there's always a level of optimism that one can have. So generally, keep your head up, keep your mind open, keep your heart open, and hope you have a nice rest of your day. Bye! Also, remember to stay hydrated.